we're back in the studio, kind of back to normal. I'm still feeling really exhausted, still unpacking, but today's a review day. So a little while ago, I ordered the douche bags, which actually I don't know if they're still technically called douche bags or just DbJourney now. I don't know if you guys have like followed that brand at all, but I think they're now making it to where DB can stand for whatever you want it to be, mainly because I think it did get a lot of backlash on the name initially, because I think there was a language translation, like it doesn't mean the same thing here than it does over there. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just gonna call it the DbJourney now, the brand. Anyways, I bought the Backpack Pro in this khaki desert colored, now what, like two and a half, 3 weeks ago. While I was in Chicago, I used this as my everyday bag, camera backpack for work, for personal stuff, for whatever it is. And but this review isn't about the backpack, but rather review of the CIA Pro in the whiteout edition. Now why? Mainly because there wasn't any reviews or more in-depth, closer look at this specific model anywhere online. I couldn't find it on Instagram, on YouTube. I searched for weeks because I did have this kind of on like my watch list for about a month, ever since, you know, that I was eyeing this backpack. I really liked this one because it looked really fancy. Now, if you watched my latest video, which was the vlog while I was in Chicago, I did do a rundown of the CIA Pro, this one, the whiteout. I kind of explained the differences between this one and the smaller camera insert that DbJourney sells. However, because I was so rushed and not a proper studio or lighting space, I didn't get to explain or go through the things that I wanted to tell you guys, especially if I personally was trying to look for the CIA Pro review or thoughts about it. So that's what this video is. I hope you guys are interested in this because I'm making this video for like someone that was like me a couple weeks ago. I hope that was not confusing. So right away, this is what it looks like in the Backpack Pro. It's pretty much the same depth of the backpack itself, so that's cool. It doesn't stick out or it's not like too thin or anything like that. But this is what it looks like. As you can see right off the bat, it pretty much takes the entire space. You can still access and put things in this top compartment, but you're just not gonna have that the full depth of it. I mean, I guess you could if you don't have rigid things here. This could push down a little bit depending on what things that you have in it. Now, this is the configuration that I had. I had my Sony. Let me kind of zoom this out a little bit more. There we go. Sorry about the mic placement, but that way you can actually see the full insert. So down here is where I had my camera. Now, thankfully, because obviously these are adjustable, this could accommodate the 16-35 or the 24-105 camera lens that I had with me. I only brought 2 lenses to me on this trip, so this was more than enough room for that. On here, as you can see, I didn't take out, it was the Rode Micro that fit, you know, perfectly here. And then I had these 2 compartments it was my Clean Light Pro, so that way if I had to use transit or anything like that, I could at least, you know, have some clean air. And then here, I actually don't remember what I had in here. But on this side, now this is kind of going into a possible con depending on the purpose that you want this for. So for me, which I kind of explained, I didn't want to use this as a big, huge, heavy camera backpack, but rather keep my equipment light. So this wasn't a huge deal. However, as you can see here, this spot was, it's kind of big, and then I had this kind of cubby or like latch and the other lens that I wasn't using, I would have it laying down versus standing up. Now, the reason for that is when you stand the lens up, particularly with these 2 lenses that I had, which is again 16-35, 24-105, so they're a little bit bigger lenses. They technically fit standing up. However, when you close it, I noticed that I had kind of a hard time zipping up, and it kind of pulled on the zipper a little bit, like it pushed up a little bit because it was taller than you know, this. So I wasn't a huge fan of like struggling to zip it up. Obviously, you kind of want to zip and unzip easily. So I opted to do it laying down. Again, that is kind of a con for me because I do prefer having my lenses upward because they're a lot easier to just take off and on, especially on a shoot or if I'm shooting something on the spot. So that kind of sucks. So that's something to note if you are wanting to pack this with a bunch of lenses, unless if you don't mind the constant struggle and making sure you're kind of pushing down to zip it up, then go for it. I think you should be fine. Otherwise, if you want to be on the safer side of things, laying it down and then adding a divider on top to protect it to make sure it doesn't flop around will do the trick. It zips up perfectly. Plus it allows you to kind of add something slim up here. So I did add a few cables or a charger that was slim on top of it. So, again, it's just something to note. So the cool thing about any of the Pros, it does come with straps. Because you can make this into its own backpack if you wanted to. So that's kind of cool. As the Pros are more expensive than the regular camera insert, some people may not be able to afford the Pro insert and a backpack. In the meantime, you could use this camera insert as your camera backpack. So it does come with this. What I really like about this whiteout edition, they're really, really nice. They didn't skip out on the details at all. It's really nice white leather. I'm not sure if it's like real leather or I don't know. Maybe I'll write it down here somewhere what the actual material, what it's out of. It also comes with I'm guessing this is a sternum strap or what else? Yes, or something. Not exactly sure what this is, but you get this too. And it's cool. It's also in whiteout to match the backpack. So it's kind of nice that they also included this because then it allows you to kind of just transform and change up based on the case scenario. Now, one thing I will note is that the Pros do come in a lot better packaging. These straps came in, and then in a bigger version, this is what the actual camera insert came in. So it was a huge difference from just the small camera insert and this as far as packaging. Obviously, that's a very minor thing, but I do look at that as far as the value of the product that you're buying. So they don't skip out. And again, because it's more expensive, at least you get some nice pouches that you could reuse for other stuff. So that's kind of, again, just something to note. Now going into Pros, because obviously this isn't by any means the perfect camera insert at all. Right away, as you guys can kind of see how this is kind of droopy. The Velcros are only on the side. Let me take this one off. See? So the Velcros are only on the sides. There's none at the bottom, or at least make it 3 sides that Velcro. I think I would have really, really preferred that because then you have this issue. Because there's no Velcro at the bottom, it doesn't stick and hold. Now I did find this pretty tedious when I would take out my camera because that was the thing that was holding, like for instance, this little cubby here. So when I would take off the camera, which is what was holding it, this thing would just flop down. And before I really realized that it was because there was no Velcro at the bottom, I kept thinking that I put these wrong, like that I put it really crooked. I was like, oh man, I thought I put it straight. So I would keep adjusting. Like the first day I kept adjusting, especially this one, because it annoys me if it's like crooked. But it was because I finally realized after like the 3rd day that it's because there's no Velcro at the bottom, so it doesn't stick and stay. So that's one thing that I wish it did include, was Velcro at least on a 3rd side, to make it more secure. Now, you might be able to kind of play around with this and add your own Velcro at the bottom if you know that you're going to stick to a certain layout. But again, that's something extra that you're gonna have to do. You're gonna kind of ruin the aesthetic of the bag itself. But again, I guess there is a workaround if it's really, really bothering you. But now jumping into the main reason why I bought this and what I really liked about this bag was that, let's go ahead and remove it, was that it had this organization flap. Now in the small version, there's no organization because obviously it just closes the camera cube, or you can fold it all the way around and then you can put put it in the backpack and not even think about it. But this one obviously serves, you can do the same thing. If you're not going to use the organization, you can go ahead and fold it like this and just have it completely open when you open your backpack. But I really love this extra organization. The backpack itself, the Backpack Pro, it has, you know, like 3 mesh pockets. You can't really stuff those up because if you have a lot of things sticking out in your camera insert, you know, so we're disregarding that, right? So let's say you have it like this. You have your camera, you have your accessories, whatever. But you really can't put too much on these mesh pockets because when you close it, it is gonna be kind of bumpy. You might have some issues zipping up the backpack depending on how packed it is. This also is kind of the same issue a little bit. You can put thin stuff in the mesh pockets of the backpack, and then this one, kind of the same thing. Here is where I had, I think initially, I had my ND filters here. You can fit 2, especially like the Polar Pro ones where it already comes with its own case. You can fit comfortably 2. That closed well. I loved it. These 2 zippered pockets up here, they're really small. They're see-through, so you can fit small things. In here, I have a little like hex screw for the camera, for the cage, as well as a little door for my GoPro when I don't want to use the mic mod. This one is empty, but again, you can fit screws and you can easily see what's in there. Now that's awesome, but the real magic is this pocket down here. This thing goes all the way to the top. So they do market this as you could fit a laptop as well as a tablet. Now the backpack itself has a laptop sleeve up to a 15-inch MacBook Pro. So that's, you know, awesome, but you don't have another space for a tablet. This kind of solves that issue. I did mention in the vlog in the last video that what I liked about this is that when I'm at the airport and I have, you know, I want to bring both my laptop and tablet, I can. The tablet fits around here, so it uses this. I'm using the 11-inch iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard. It fits perfectly. However, it goes back to how you have this laid out. You can't have the lenses upwards because then that really pops this up and makes it hard for the actual backpack to zip up. So you have to kind of play a little Tetris, make sure you don't have too many bulky things if you have this kind of packed out. I think that kind of goes with any camera insert or backpack that have organization on the flap in where you close it. So again, something to note. Handles, I mean, this thing is very, very well, I mean, it looks really nice, very stylish. Just look at that hardware right there, because of course, going with the whole DB like bag series, you can hook this up to either, well, to any luggage or bags that you buy from their company. So this is no different. You can have, you can unclip these right here and hook it up to a roller bag or to a bigger backpack. Now, this is also where you're going to attach the straps to make this into a backpack. I haven't had the need to use this as a only backpack, but hey, options are great. You have this top handle. It's just very thin material. Again, you're not gonna have this like super packed, at least I don't think. So it's not like the best or very comfortable, to say the least, but it does the job as far as you quickly needing to grab it and go. You also have a side handle, which is great, especially if you're going to be putting this in and out of a place. You can easily just grab it and pull it. For the backpack, particularly, well, I think it's only the Backpack Pro, have loops on the inside, which I can go ahead and show you. Okay, there's 4 of these little loops. I'll try to point it out a little bit better. There's 4 of these. Now these bottom ones fit the camera, the small camera insert, and then you can use all 4 for this Pro. Now that is to really fully attach the camera insert to the backpack so it's not moving around. One thing I will say, it's super annoying and hard to put this in and out of those little loops. I do wish that it was a different connection, not a whole Velcro, but rather maybe just a clip. That would have been a lot easier, especially if you are planning, or it comes to the situation where you do want to take this out, have the camera empty or whatever, put it in and out. So this is very, very hard. I would say you only apply this if you know that you're not really going to be taking out the camera inserts, because that was really annoying. I ended up just placing it, especially with the Pro, because it's the size of the backpack, there's not a lot of movement. So that's not a huge issue. Now going back to the aesthetic of this thing, on the side here, I really like it. It has a nice little like whiteout edition embezzled on there on the side of this whole like leather thing. So it tells you white edition, redefined, established, I guess, January 1st of 2012 is when they came out with this whiteout edition. So that's kind of cool. It's really cool because it kind of looks like a plaque of what it is that you have. And some bags will have this as well, depending on the edition that you buy. So that's like kind of like, you know, kind of cool little thing that DbJourney does with their bag. Now their zippers as well match the hardware of the bag, so they didn't skip out on that. There also is the DB little logo on each of these little zipper pulls. And then of course, I don't think I've pointed this out, but there's a embossed, like you can like feel the groove of the DB right here. And just overall, I really like the aesthetic of the white one. Again, I never saw, on the website, they only show like the front of the bag and nothing inside. So I wasn't sure what to expect as far as how the white looked on the inside. Because they had the camo edition, the inside is red, I believe. So I just wasn't sure what to expect, hence why I'm making this review for you guys. I'm really pleased with it. It's not heavy at all. It's pretty light, so it's not gonna weigh down your bag. Again, just going quickly back to what I said and mentioned about my quick like 2-week review of the Backpack Pro. It's not meant to overstuff, which is perfect because that's what I need it for. I need to limit myself on the gear that I carry on my back because I'm an old lady and I can't hold a lot of weight anymore. So this is perfect, the perfect backpack for me. I hope this review helped you guys out in choosing the kind of camera inserts or backpacks that you want if you're looking at the whole DbJourney brand. And I hope this review helped you guys out. If you have any more questions about the DbJourney, whether that be the backpack, the camera inserts, or the small one, I have both sizes now, so that's really awesome. If you guys have any questions about it, comment down below. Like this video if you liked it and it helped you out. Subscribe if you haven't already because that helps me out a whole bunch. I appreciate all of you guys. I look forward to talking to you on the comments down below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.